48 points to 10.
Number 19 in the Winfield Cup. Well, the Canberra Raiders are on 20 points, and a win tonight is essential for them to keep alive their semi-final hopes. On the other hand, the Gold Coast team down, of course, on the bottom of the ladder, but they do play pretty well at home, and they'll need to tonight because they're up against a Canberra team that do have their test stars back. And they'll really need to fire up David Fordham because of some late news, the withdrawal of Wally Lewis.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff, Bill. We only just found out.
Second row, Stanton, Fritz, Walters and Coyne moves up to the front row. The coach, of course, Billy, is Tim Sheehan, and he realises this side has to win 8 straight to win the grand final and make it 3 premierships in a row. It all starts tonight.
And certainly a tough task it is for sure, David Wright. We might take a break and be back with the kick-off very shortly. Blows the whistle and play is underway in this match here tonight at the Gold Coast. Once again, ideal conditions. We'll check all that out with Tony Durkin very shortly. But that's Simpkins taking it up. He's immediately going to be held up in the tackle. Getting across underneath was Walters. Also over there was Gary Coyne. So a Gold Coast side, we would suggest prior to the match that they did have their work cut out tonight with those changes. It becomes an even greater task for them, I feel.
Well, it does, Bill, and really sums up the season for the Gold Coast. It's been a rather forgettable year for them, but 5 changes to the Gold Coast side, the program side. And speaking to Malcolm Cliff before the game, it's been a very, very frustrating year for him. And the Gold Coast, he was just hoping they'd put in a good performance in front of their home crowd tonight.
Well, that's a nice kick to touch, brings play up to 10 metres inside Canberra territory. And while we're talking about Canberra, very good evening to our viewers tonight as you see that ball bouncing into touch through CDC in Canberra, and also the folks up there in Papua New Guinea who take in this match too. So welcome to
point out too, Bill, that the weather conditions quite in contrast to what we experienced in Canberra last weekend for the Broncos match.
You're not wrong there. I know where I'd much rather be on a night like this. That's Malmaninga with it about 8 metres short of the halfway mark. Back to Ricky Stewart. They keep it going. Belcher getting it out nicely this time to Martin, but the referee's going to call it back.
Nothing in that. The pass from Belcher to Martin, Bill, as you called it, seemed to be pretty well okay. West didn't like the look of it. Canberra worked this blind side very nicely. The pass up, there's Belcher's pass. Gee, flat line ball. West didn't like it. He's the man that counts. Feed by Shaw.
Lining up with it now, but the scrum screws around a bit. Now it packs down again. Shaw getting across to Horsnell. And taking it outside there is Freestone. We normally expect to see him in the second row. It's going to be an interesting experiment, that one.
Well, especially when you think he's up against Malmaninga, who just thrives on just that little bit of extra space to work in. Canberra here caught inside the 5 metres, an opportunity for the Gold Coast to go on the attack nice and early in the match. And there would be no better way to start the game for the Gold Coast to get early points on the board.
They're going to have a shot at goal at this occasion, so well, they're lining up for it. Let's have a look at those early matches. In the under-21s, Canberra defeated the Gold Coast by 34-4, and in reserve grade, Gold Coast 8 defeated Canberra 4. Now, Gold Coast move up on the points table to 24 points, And Canberra with the leading side there, so that's a good win by the Gold Coast team.
Terrific effort that by the Gold Coast, because they were in equal fourth spot with about 3 or 4 other sides there, so they had to win really to stay in the hunt, and they've done it very well against the top side.
Laurie Daly there, just checking on things.
Coached by Graham Eadie, of course, the reserve grade side, and he'll be Wally Lewis's assistant coach next year, should Lewis elect to take up the position of captain coach.
Brett Rolls has kicked 9 for 15 this season for a percentage record of 60. Tony Durkin, just while we're talking about conditions, not much breeze about it all?
No breeze to speak of, Bill. Well, a slight breeze blowing across the ground from the west, and that shouldn't affect this kick very much. But terrific conditions here again. As Fordo said, quite different to last week. The Brett Rolls moves in. It looks good. The touch judges haven't moved. No, just away to the left-hand side of the upright. And, Bill, a very good crowd has come here in the last hour or so too. So, obviously, the Premiers, a lot of supporters with their Queensland contingent here on the Gold Coast.
So play comes back to the quarter line, and that's where we'll see the dropout. Bouncing downfield towards Gonzalez. Runs it up over the quarter line. Gary Coyne's across there to lead off the tackle charge. And also getting into it on this occasion is Darren Fritz. But there's been a knock-on in there.
Oh, Bill, we've seen so many times this year where the Gold Coast have brought about unforced errors. Gonzalez there, well and truly effectively held. Well, there was a reefing action, no doubt. West missed it. Canberra got the advantage.
So Wood getting it back. This is Bradley Clyde.
I noticed that Matthew Wood is playing at 5'8" and Daly in the centres, Bill. Wood did play against Brisbane earlier this year in that 5'8" role.
So taking it up again is Fritz. Strong, hard runner, this fellow. So from the play the ball, it's Walters up there as dummy half. Working across over there to Stanton. So Canberra lined out deep on the right-hand side. Wood trying to find a way up the centre, but is going to be wrapped up this time. No chance of making a way through there. That's Barnhill out of the first tackle, out of the second one. Works up to the quarter line before he's eventually pulled down by Paul Shaw. Final tackle, Walters. Back to Stewart. He decides to let it go. Wood getting it across. It's going to be lost by... No, Daly scooped up eventually by Stewart.
Lost forward on that sixth tackle, and therefore a changeover. Canberra tried to move it very quickly there, but the defence moved up to counter it. Laurie Daly called quickly to Stewart to get that ball into the left-hand side. They thought they had a chance to run it. Gold Coast read it nicely.
So now taking it up there is Durham. Dummy half is Bartram. Decides to go himself. Pulled down about 8 metres short of the halfway mark. So no points on the board as yet here at the Gold Coast. Shaw getting it across to Horsnell. They keep it going. Outside over there, there's time to Cook. And he's wrapped up 10 metres short of halfway.
So the Gold Coast now moving through Shaw. He goes onto the right foot. It's been touched in flight. It will go into touch. So it'll be touched. It'll be a loose head and feed, or are they going to give the no, a loose head and feed to the Gold Coast? And the scrum about 9 metres inside the Gold Coast end of the ground. Rolls comes into the line as the first receiver from that scrum. Shaw goes into dummy half. Darts out of that position and takes play over the halfway line. Walters came over the top on the ball and all tackle. Underneath was Gary Coyne. Now Keith G. Canberra very, very flat in defence. Stewart up quickly. 7 tackles already in this first half by Gary Coyne. Now Shaw switching the point of attack. The little grubber kick through. Dived on by Bradley Clyde. He read it very, very well, Clyde, the test lock forward.
Certainly did, because he was moving up in defence when Shaw cut back on the inside. Clyde had to turn and chase, and just got there in front of Paul Shaw.
Clyde having only his 6th game in the top grade after that knee reconstruction last year, but what a great comeback he's made.
He's made a terrific comeback, and it should be realised that if he goes into the player draft next year, Bradley Clyde, Gold Coast have made it very clear that they will have first pick and also elect to go for Bradley Clyde. So we could see him in a Seagulls jumper next year.
Now Stewart with that long kick downfield. That'll force Danny Sharp back and Brett Rolls. Rolls is the man that will pick it up and advance it over the quarter line. That's a dreadful pass. And didn't that put some pressure on Gonzalez? Well, I'm sure Malcolm Cliff would have gone just a little grayer.
Well, it was an amazing pass by Rolls because it didn't get anywhere near the mark. The idea wasn't too bad because I don't think he was ever going to run around Laurie Daly because it's very seldom anyone does. But the execution in that sort of circumstance must be spot on.
Bartram out of dummy half. Stewart roughs him to the ground 10 metres short of halfway. Still no score in this match. Kick downfield by Horsnell. Martin retreats. Takes it inside his quarter. Looks for Belcher and comes to Gonzalez, who wrapped him up ball and all. Now 32 out from their own goal line, the Canberra Raiders. The side who, in fact, inflicted the biggest defeat ever on the Gold Coast side. That was way back in 1988, 50 points to 6 at Seaford. There's the pass from Clyde to Martin to Belcher. Belcher got through one, but Shaw made sure his progress was stopped on the halfway line.
Working that blind side very well, Canberra.
Now Wood spotted the gap, but Herring went low to pick him up in the tackle. Stanton is a dummy half. The wraparound by Stewart, the inside pass to Coyne, and the Raiders take it over the halfway line on the final tackle. Walters calling for the right to Stewart. The long pass. Daly. Belcher comes in the line. Clyde in support. He's got Martin in turn on the outside. Went on his own. Great tackle by Paul Shaw.
Canberra once again electing to run it on that sixth tackle. It'll force a changeover, but it just shows how dangerous they are in creating the extra man. Gary Belcher, the best exponent of all, coming in from fullback, runs as the extra man, creates the opportunities.
Well, he's come back very confidently. It's his first game in the Canberra outfit since round 14, and that was the match against Eastern Suburbs when he had a recurrence of that knee problem. He's since had an arthroscope, and he told me on Sunday at the Bruce Stadium that he was really looking forward to this clash tonight.
Yes, well, mentally, obviously, there's a big thing for Belcher to get over after a operation, but he is yet to be tackled, and this could be the first time. This will be the true test. It's all very well to run and pass. It's when you've got to be tackled.
Well, successfully takes it to within about 18 metres out from his own goal line. Simpkins led the defensive charge. Croker, first touch from Meninga. Takes it over the quarter. Walters, his Australian teammate, darts out of dummy half. And Bartram was there as a sweeper.
What a season Steve Walters has had. He took the opportunity to play for the Australian side with both hands, and he's played brilliantly.
This is clever play by the Raiders. Croker. G came at him.
Paul Shaw around the ankles once again in cover.
Well, young Croker made his debut against the Gold Coast back at the Bruce Stadium early this year, and since then has played in the remaining 15 matches, and he's come up with 7 tries in that period. He really has been one of the finds of the season.
He has, but this really is a silly penalty. That's the 5th tackle, and the Gold Coast had done well to contain Canberra well away from the try line, and now they get another chance with 6. 30 metres out. It's very hard to stop the Green Machine.
So it starts to put the pressure on the Gold Coast again, or should I say they bring it on themselves. That's Fritz taking it up. Strong runner, as I said. Likely looking customer, this fellow. So Canberra lined out deep again as Stewart takes it. The long pass coming out to Coyne. They keep it going. Daly up over the quarter line. Still going is Daly. He'll score himself. Now he sends it over the top. It's going to be taken by Martin, and he's in the corner.
What a back line the Canberra Raiders have. Martin is down, the touch judge is on. Now this could be interesting. Could be an 8-point try, this one. I'm not 100% sure whether the referee yet has awarded the try. There's no doubt that Canberra have not infringed, but have the Gold Coast infringed
they have,
by tackling the player as he scores it. A couple of dummy runners here, very important, Bill. The pass up by Wood. Look at Laurie Daly, open spaces. This guy is a Rolls-Royce player, runs away, so much pace and ability to power away from tackles. Now let's have a look. Does Martin get it interfered with after he scored? Well, not a great deal in it. He certainly took a big dive. And I would think we're going to see a very unusual situation here where the referee could well award what's called an 8-point try. No, perhaps not. He hasn't ruled that. He has the... Let's have a look, Laurie Daly here, as he fires the ball out. Martin just staying out there on his wing, waiting his chance. And then I think it's Durham.
Durham it is. Yeah, quite
comes
late.
in
and the forearm.
And drops on him. Martin certainly milked it. Now the referee had the option there of awarding a penalty, and the penalty would be taken. after Meninga has this shot to convert the try, the penalty would be taken right in front of the post. I don't think he has awarded a penalty, and just looking at it, I don't think the incident warranted a second penalty.
Billy, he kicked so well in the Test match the other night, Noel Meninga, but in the Winfield Cup matches this year, the Meninga magic has been somewhat wanting. He's only kicked 28 from 60 attempts, which is very un-Meninga-like.
Well, what it is. Let's see what he does tonight. Back onto the mark. A deep breath. On his way, it's away to the right-hand side. Waved away. So the Canberra side lead at the moment at Seagulls Stadium by 4 points to 0.
Shot.
Now, and that Canberra team looked a bit ominous in attack there.
Brilliant attacking side, Bill, and it wasn't just a simple backline movement. A couple of dummy runners, and the idea there is just to hold the defence in momentarily, and it was that action of the dummy runners that gave Daly the little bit of extra room to move, and he doesn't need too much to make an opportunity for his wingers.
Paul Martin getting up to play it just short of the quarter line. Walters sending it outside to Clyde. Bradley Clyde seems to be enjoying this match tonight. He's getting very, very heavily involved. Walters working across field. Dummy half is Daly. Back to Stewart. To Coyne. Coyne looking one way for support, but he didn't look the other. Gary Belcher was positioning himself over there. This is Fritz. Up to the halfway mark. Final tackle. Sees Wood coming in as the dummy half. To Stewart. Kicking it down towards Rolls. Heading across field now to try and get away from the tackle of Bradley Clyde. He's underneath and Daly over the top. So the Gold Coast in possession with Gonzalez.
Interesting defensive pattern, this one by the Raiders, Bill. They have Ricky Stewart stands about a metre behind the defensive line. You can just see him there. And what he does, he just plugs the holes. He just directs players as we see another error by the Gold Coast. But Ricky Stewart is the general in terms of defensive positioning. Gold Coast making error inside their own territory. Could be fateful.
So it's Stewart to feed the scrum again. Have a look at that. Errors by the Gold Coast. 8 up there already.
Against the head, the Gold Coast. That's well done.
Well, we're sure the man to play it. This is Nella. Back it comes to Shaw. They attempt to keep it going, but the defence is up very, very quickly.
Now Simpkins. Back for G. Rolls, gave it to Shaw. He left it behind. And who's been called out? Stanton's been called out. Keith G's been told to keep quiet.
Again, didn't seem to be too much in it as he pushed at Paul Shaw as he tried to back up the middle portion.
And the penalty going to the Gold Coast.
It's a handy one because the knock-on had really already been affected. There's Paul Shaw gaining attention now. Obviously a head-high attempted tackle and one that really didn't have to be made because Paul Shaw had already knocked the ball forward.
David, one of the interesting things tonight will be as this match goes on. Well, that's a dreadful mistake by the Gold Coast as Belcher fields it outside his quarter line. Young Scott Freestone is a young player that has impressed me so much this year in the second row, but I don't know how much experience he's had in the centres, and what a couple to be marking out there in Laurie Daly and Mal Meninga if you're left a little bit wanting in experience in positional play.
Yeah, well, even the best have trouble with those two, and the Gold Coast in their urgency to try and get up. Ricky Stewart looking for a quick tap, but I think the territory's on offer and they're going to look for that. But yeah, even the best players in the world have trouble with Daly and Meninga, as we saw the other night. It is the Australian centre pairing. And really having a look at Mal Meninga, how would you tackle him?
And Terry Cook, the other youngster of the centres, only his second run-on game of the season as well. So they really will have the job ahead of them tonight, particularly if Canberra continue to dominate possession as they have done so far in this first half.
Like
now, Walters goes to dummy half.
Like a learn-to-swim class out there, straight in the deep end for those fellows.
Stewart for Stanton. Swarming defence by the Gold Coast. Walters again directing play from the dummy half position for Barnhill. He got a late reprieve into the side when Todd pulled out today. He's played every match so far in the Winfield Cup in 91. Wood with the helling the pass up to Belcher. Meninga came on the boil, but gee, it was well read that time by Danny Sharp, who came in from the wing. Now Clyde. One international after the other in this Canberra side, going forward for the green machine. Blindside they move it. Big Mal Meninga on the final tackle. They decide to run it, and that's the turnover once again.
That's the third time Canberra have looked to run the ball on that sixth tackle. You would have to think that Tim Sheens has given them the licence to do exactly that. We do see a lot of teams score on that sixth tackle in a run of play. The Gold Coast have done well to counter it, and Canberra have only kicked twice in general play in the match.
Now G, floating part. Oh, Mal Meninga says, welcome to first grade, to Terry Cook. Have a look at this. Dear, oh dear. That's danger money stuff.
Gold Coast have kicked well themselves to get out of their territory. That's in general play. They've kicked well. They certainly didn't kick too well when they looked for touch a little while ago for the free kick. But at least they're hanging in there at the moment. Canberra are threatening. Gold Coast have kicked 6 times to Canberra's 2 in general play.
Well, Paul Martin's 9th try of the season sees Canberra leading by 4-0. A set play. Belcher's in the line for Meninga. Terry Cook replays the compliment. Now that's tremendous stuff from a young centre in only his second first grade match.
Excellent stuff there by Cook. Meninga was under pressure because he just had to turn his back momentarily, but in doing that, he was going to endeavour to just brace himself for the tackle and pop the ball, which he often does. Cook held him well.
Well, Cook is renowned for his defence, and it really came to the fore on that occasion. Stewart scheming for the Raiders. That's Gary Coyne, 5 metres short of the halfway line. We've had just about 18 minutes of play in the first half. Oh, nearly the knock down and regather by Freestone, but the knock-on will be ruled. The intercept was on.
Freestone read it well. Canberra loved to do this. Just get to the line and pop the ball. Freestone was going to have none of it. He'd read it nicely. Just couldn't retain it.
Well, Freestone has scored a couple of tries this year from the second row position against Canterbury and Cronulla. Now, he's learnt one thing already. He's got up very, very quickly in defence out wide there, David, standing up, and he's been picked.
Well, I think I'd be moving up pretty quick too on those pair. I think you're better off trying to force the referee to make the decision and to stand and allow Meninga and Daly to have free rein.
Well, obviously he hadn't met Mel before, because I think he was just about up there shaking hands, wasn't he? Meninga with the big kick downfield will take play to about 8 metres short of the 22. Canberra lead by 4-0. Round 19 of the Winfield Cup from the Seagulls Stadium. And the green machine go on attack again.
They do that via Gary Coyne, who works play up to the quarter line, goes to ground under a host of players over there. So back to Stewart again. Stewart gets it on to Bradley Clyde. Coyne is down on one knee at the moment. Trainer coming on to see him. Gold Coast have missed 7 tackles, so that'll give you an idea of what's happened. But Canberra lose the ball on this occasion.
Bill, we've often criticised the Gold Coast for lack of urgency in terms of their defence this year, but it really has been good tonight. Admittedly, Canberra got in for 1 try, but the Gold Coast have been busy in defence and significantly have moved up.
Gary Coyne's in a fair deal of trouble, Tony Durkin.
Certainly is. It's his left knee. In fact, he can hardly walk. The second trainer has come on to assist him from the field, Gary Coyne. So that's bad news for the Raiders. But what an able replacement, Nigel Gaffey.
So we see Gary Belcher finishing up with it. The Gold Coast defence, as you said, David, they're onto the task again.
Well, they're keen, Bill, tonight, and that's what I like the look about them. This Canberra side, you've only got to relax for a moment and they'll cut you to pieces. But just now, the Gold Coast are pressuring them, and that's good. And what a tragic sight that is. Gary Coyne, a real workhorse of this Canberra pack, having to leave the field.
Walters coming in as dummy half as Clyde plays it on the halfway mark. That is Fritz. Takes on the defence and finishes up 10 metres inside Seagulls territory. So back again this time to Stanton. Final tackle. Well, they've been in the habit of running it out. Are they going to do that this time? No, they're going to kick through. That's Wood. Going back is Danny Sharp. Regathered nicely. And works it up to just short of the quarter line. So Canberra lead by 4 points to 0. But they look well in command at the moment.
Well, they do, Bill. Perhaps, and it's not very often we see it, that Canberra perhaps just aren't standing deep enough in their attack. Normally they've got the deepest attack in the business because they can thwart any fast-moving defence by getting that little bit deeper and creating the overlap. Tonight they've been a little bit flattish in terms of their attack.
There's a little kick through. Going out after it is Nella, but it'll be Daly. Swings it straight back over there to Belcher. Great stuff. Now to Meninga. He is just held on. He gets it back to Wood. Wood is going to be tackled over there by Freestone. Here's Tony Durkin.
Well, Bill, Gary Coyne won't be back tonight. He has a very bad cork just above that knee, but it's not as serious as first thought. Hopefully, Gary Coyne, as the Canberra's charge towards the premiership, back next week.
So that is Stanton with it right on the halfway mark. So Walters to Stewart. Outside then to Gaffey. Placement player for Gary Coyne. So away to Wood, over the top it goes. Daly having trouble, but eventually regathers back to Wood. Wood's going to be upended this time by Horsnell. Final tackle here as Meninga sends it to Daly. He kicks through. Back there is Rolls. He gets it all right, but there's plenty of Canberra players on top of him, led by Bradley Clyde, and he'll put him down. Quick play the ball. Shaw sending it back over there, this time to Sharp. Sharp to the quarter line. Away from dummy half there is Bartram. Ricky Stewart slow back to his feet.
He has had a groin injury, Bill, for much of the season. It has hampered him even since the Kangaroo Tour, and he does seem to be hobbling, and at one stage was favouring it. Here's a break by the Gold Coast.
Looking around everywhere is Bartram, but he's
blew it. Absolutely blew it, Bill. Danny Sharp just blew me on his left-hand side, just had to serve him the ball.
So now they keep it going. A kick up. Gee, that goes right off the side of the boot by Brett Rolls. Players go in all directions, and eventually, it's going to be Daly picking it up. He's up over the halfway mark. He's being chased out by Simpkins, and a great tackle by the lock forward.
How does he do it? Robert Simpkins does give 110%, and he's caught Laurie Daly from behind.
So now it's the Canberra team still on the Rantan. Out they go. Swing it wide to Meninga. Meninga now to Clyde. Clyde outside this time to Martin. Martin steps back inside. Then goes the outside. Is going to be pulled down about a metre short of the line. So the dummy half is Barnhill, but it's still the Green Machine on the rampage. Barnhill knocked over in the dummy half spot. This time it'll be Martin to Stewart. Meninga. Props. Now gets it away to Walters. He's taken care of. 12 metres out now. Spread out to the left, the Canberra team. And that's the way they go. Stewart dumbing his way across field. It's going to be lost over there by Stanton.
Crunching tackle that by Simpkins, but he's now in a bit of trouble as well. Once again, the Canberra Raiders trying to get the ball out wide. Stanton jumps to try and catch it. Simpkins blocked him and has come off second best.
Well, it takes a bit to stop Robert Simpkins too, let me tell you. He's only missed one game so far this year, and that was the loss to Canterbury. And already a change has been made as we see the Gold Coast coming up with 12 errors so far in the first 25 minutes. Tony Durkin, what's happened down there on the touchline?
Well, Chris Close, a fresh reserve in jersey number 40, has come on for Ray Herring. Robbie Simpkins down. Maybe that change a little premature, but David, during the week, Chris Close became a dad again. His wife Diane presented him with a baby daughter, Shanna Lee, a sister for a young Christopher, and Choppy brought Diane and Shanna Lee home today, and no doubt they're watching, so all the best to Shanna Lee and Diane Close.
Yeah, that's great news for Choppy. He's on the field tonight for his 6th interchange appearance for the season. Started in 8 of the matches so far in the Winfield Cup this year. Now Durham, Bradley Clyde just tries to drive into the ground, but Durham held his feet. Now Close. Right knee heavily strapped. We were talking about that injury to Ricky Stewart. I was talking to him last night at the hotel, David. He had intensive physiotherapy on that yesterday, but it has worried him since he had that operation in Adelaide in the off-season.
Yeah, the problem with a groin injury like that is once you do just overstretch it, providing you stay within your means, it's okay, and it does seem that he's a little bit of damage tonight. Let's hope it's not too bad.
Well, the story is, while ever Canberra stay alive, he will play with painkillers. As soon as they lose semi-final contention, Ricky Stewart will be immediately going to hospital for more surgery.
Robert Simpkins again as Daly tried to get around him. Great tackle.
Now Gaffey on the field for the injured Gary Coyne. It's 4-0. 4-0 to the Canberra Raiders. Robert Simpkins back to his feet. That's good news. Canberra go on the ball again. Gaffey taken by Freestone in the tackle, and Keith Miller comes over the top as well. So the Raiders line deep to the left. Watch for the long pass from Stewart to Wood. The cutout pass to Meninga. That is classy stuff. Out it goes for Croker. Gee, just brilliant skills by this Canberra backline. And what a tragedy it would be if this side don't make the semi-finals. Here's the high ball. Brett Rolls didn't want it. But again, that spiral punt kick from Ricky Stewart putting the team under pressure. Canberra lead by 4-0. Back here at the Gold Coast Stadium. Worth having a look again at the skill of this Canberra backline.
This is Harlem Globetrotter stuff. There's Meninga, Belcher. Well, they know each other's play. They've played together for 10 years. Souths in Brisbane, Canberra Raiders. They know each other's play inside out.
Between them, they've chalked up 200 first-grade games for the Canberra Raiders since then. Belcher 117, and because of those injuries, Mal Meninga only playing in his 90th first-grade game tonight. During the time, he's amassed 604 points and 2 premierships. It's been a pretty worthwhile exercise bringing him to the national capital from Brisbane. Stewart away from Wood, again playing in that 5/8 role. Daly with the pass back to Meninga, looping around is Martin. Forever looking for work, the former Australian schoolboy winger, coming across from this right-hand wing. Daly out of dummy half for Gaffey. Now the green machine is on the roll. It's on the final tackle. Will we see the ball in the air again, or will they run it? It goes to Stewart, this time putting it across the goal line. Meninga went up, but the Gold Coast read it very, very well through Danny Sharp.
It's been a good performance by the Gold Coast tonight. Canberra have tried a few of their training moves. There's Stewart kicking back across the ruck this time, giving time for Meninga to come through. But the Gold Coast just as desperate, if not more so. Admittedly trapped inside their 22, but they're hanging in there.
Dominating possession of the Raiders. Danny Sharp, David, is a player that's impressed me in reserve grade this year. He's only been used 3 times off the bench. Played in 1 game this year against Eastern Suburbs in that Friday night game in round 10. But I think he's a pretty handy player, and I'm amazed he hasn't played more first-grade football with this Gold Coast side.
What it's showing you tonight, Fordo, if you want to play first grade and you get out there and have a go, you can remain competitive. Getting over carried away by any means, because Canberra have been threatening every time they're in possession. But the Gold Coast are really taking it to Canberra and not letting them run at will.
Freestone again knocks it down. Daly picks it up and the attack starts again. There goes the brilliance of Belcher. And I think a Gold Coast player has held back by Cook was the ruling on Mal Meninga. So the penalty.
Interesting one, Fordo, because Meninga immediately appealed for it. But I just wonder whether the pass hadn't already gone forward and lost. The score, the penalty's there 4-2. It looked to me like the pass was already going to go astray. With once again some good pressure defence, Meninga immediately appealed to referee Graham West and got the penalty.
So play coming up to the quarter line into the final 10 minutes of this first half. Canberra with a lead of 4 points to 0. And that's Fritz. So once again, they're exerting the pressure on this Gold Coast side, whose defence has stood up rather well here tonight. Stanton, not sure what was happening there, so he decided to keep running. Dummy half is Walters. To Stewart. Wood. Cutting back inside, still going, got away from a couple of tackles. He's going to score. Wood is in. That's a Canberra second try and a lead of 8-0.
Great individual work there by young fellow Matthew Wood, and that's the danger of so many good players in the back line. You cannot afford to take your eye off one while looking for the other. Matthew Wood, the unexpected. Robert Keith G down there injured and in a lot of pain. Looks to be a leg injury. But once again, Canberra with concerted pressure bring the ball out into this open side. The pass out to Wood, not a great deal on. Shaw moves up quickly, cuts back inside Shaw, away from Simpkins, away then from Brett Rolls. He's beaten 3 players. There's G trying to make that last tackle. That's where he hurt himself. Well, another look from ground level, and Fordo, he does it nicely.
Yeah, this is the young fella that scored a try in the grand final last year as a replacement. 3 times this year he's scored a try-scoring double. It's his 8th try of the season, and he did it very, very well. G, desperate in defence at the end.
So now we'll see Mal Meninga attempt to convert this try. Has had one shot at goal, has been unsuccessful. Let's see what he can do with this one. So, shot straight over Big Mel's shoulder. You can see the golf base in the background as he takes that familiar deep breath, moves in. He's away to the left-hand side this time. So the score remains Canberra leading by 8 points to 0.
Well, the irony of this, Mal's missed both his attempts tonight, Bill, in that first round match where Canberra sneaked home by 20 points to 18. The big fella kicked 4 from 4, including that brilliant conversion from touch right on the bell to give Canberra that dramatic victory. KG
being assisted to his feet, but still a little gingerly walking along as we see play about to restart in centre field. Away we go. G is going to rejoin his teammates as the ball is kicked downfield to be taken back there by Bilcher. He gets it to Fritz, and Fritz will be wrapped up 18 metres short of the Canberra line. Coming half Walters, sending it back to Klein. They're up to the quarter line, Canberra. That's Gaffey. He's going to be met and tackled up there by Chris Close. Ooh, Stanton pulls that one in. Unloaded it, and they've lost it, Canberra. It'll be a Gold Coast ball via Keith Neller. So now back it goes to G, who's into the fray again. Away from dummy half is Bartram. Bartram trying to work his way through. He's only a couple of metres out. Can the Coast finish it off this time? Let's have a look now as the ball is swung over on the blind side to Simpkins. Simpkins in turn wrapped up, and he got his pass away to Danny Sharp. He's out of one tackle, reaches for the line as he placed it. Yes, he has. Touch. Referee is checking with his touch judges. Rules the try. Canberra lead by 8-4.
Great individual try that by the Gold Coast. They decided to attack the blind side. Little spin out by Danny Sharp after it looked like nothing was on. Looked like it could have broken down there. Simpkins again turns it back on the inside. Pops it to Danny Sharp. Standing start. Heading in the wrong direction initially. Spins around. Breaks a couple of tackles. Reaches out to get it down. That's a good individual effort. Simpkins firstly to stand in a couple of tackles, one of which was Laurie Daly. That's not easy. And then gets away from Croker. And then the effort to reach out and score it. Good effort that from the Gold Coast, and they're back in the match.
Yeah, Simpkins does very well here, but look at the inexperience of Croker coming in, leaving his wing, and Sharp spotted it very well. He had to work hard to get there. The little loop and the head down determination. Barnhill got there but couldn't stop the try. Danny Sharp's first try in the Winfield Cup.
Well, he just got it down, but he got it down for as long as it counts.
Yes, he did the job, and when you think it came about when the Gold Coast forced an error as Canberra tried to move the ball inside their own quarter soon after the kick-off. The error forced Gold Coast retained possession and went on with the job.
Brett Rolls unsuccessful with the penalty attempt early in the first half. As Billy mentioned earlier, going into this match, had kicked 9 from 15. A 60% strike rate. A bit of an unfortunate start to the season, did Brett Rolls. He fractured his skull in the second match of the season against Manly Warringah. And in previous matches in the lower grades had come back to wear the headgear. He shed that tonight for this first grade clash. From right on the touchline. It's going to drop short. And the Premiers hold a 4-point advantage here at the Gold Coast Stadium. Crowd enjoying magnificent conditions here on the Gold Coast tonight. Mal Meninga, prime objective tonight, David, secure the 2 Winfield Cup points.
That's right, and so far they've never been headed in this match. They still lead 8-4, but with just 4 minutes to go up to half-time, absolutely vital now for both sides to stay on their mettle. Really, the Gold Coast have worked very hard to be within 4 points of the Premiers.
They've never beaten the Canberra side in the matches played so far since 1988. Record book stands at 6-0, or in fact 7-0. Remembering that 20-18 win at the Bruce Stadium earlier this year by the Raiders. Here's Choppy Close, testing the Canberra defence as we go into the final 3 or 4 minutes of this first half. Back it goes for Rolls. He, in turn, gets it away for Horsnell. Was put under pressure by Daly. The ball will find touch. Now, did Laurie Daly get a touch to it?
Don't think he did, Fordo. Horsnell had to get a little bit of elevation in that kick, as Daly had done well to come through as the second runner to take on the second kicker. Somewhat fortunate there for the Gold Coast, and interesting statistic there. Gold Coast kicking 2-1.
Horsnell back in the 5/8 roll with Lewis out. There's Daly. And Simpkins came off the back of the scrum to pick him up. Clyde, was it a little knock on? Referee Graham West said yes, it was.
Canberra have not had the use of their internationals over the last 2 weeks because of test commitments. They just haven't quite linked with the teamwork we've come to know.
7 survivors from last year's premiership side at the Sydney Football Stadium are out on the field tonight. In fact, there's one off with Gary Coyne injured in this first half, but Belcher, Martin, Meninga, Daly, Stewart, Coyne and Walters, all survivors from that grand final side. At this stage of the season last year, that had 12 wins and 1 draw, going on to secure the minor premiership. This year, they started this match with 10 wins and 8 losses. So it's been a difficult task for them this year. Only twice have they put 3 wins together on the trot. That was from rounds 7 to 9 and rounds 15 to 17. But they're clinging to that hope of the semi-final. Terry Cook takes play to the quarter line as the Gold Coast play to strike back before the break. They've got a minute to do it. Chris Close puts his head down, takes it to 11 metres short of the line. It's the final tackle. They're calling for the ball to go up. Bartram, oh, that was a poor kick.
Poor option, poor kick. Wayne Bartram, the idea there was to take a bit of chance, and that was to put a high ball up. Anything can happen from there. Bartram did not execute it all well there, endeavouring to get the ball into the in-goal area. Put it dead. Canberra with only seconds now to reply.
Well, the players out wide were calling for the ball to be hoisted into the air. But the Raiders will be in no real hurry to get play back underway as the clock ticks down to the half-time hooter. 3 tries in the first 40 minutes. 1 to Martin, 1 for Wood. Canberra, 8 points. The 4 to the Gold Coast. The try by Sharp. Have we got a chance for the Gold Coast to launch one final attack? Second forward pass by the Raiders. Now Shaw ran away from his support of Horsnell. He darts into the open. A chance now. Cook got the pass away. Shaw backed up. Short of the try line. They're calling for it to be spread wide.
Well, they had to be offside. They had to be offside. They're going to get away with it, Canberra, as they force the error from an offside position. Graham West is going to let it go. There's the knock on. There's the half-time hooter. Score 8-4 to Canberra.
Yes, the Raiders in the lead by 8-4. We'll take a break from the Seagulls Stadium. Back here in just a moment. Stadium, Canberra lead by 8 points to 4. The Wales rescue helicopter doing a simulated rescue exercise here. I don't think it's going to rescue the smother on top of my head, David, right?
No, Fordo, I've heard about making the visitors feel at home, but this is worse than Bruce Stadium.
The first half, as I said, Canberra here purely to get the 2 Winfield Cup points. They've done it well, but you've got to give credit to the Gold Coast side for their commitment.
They bustled very well, they moved up very well, but Canberra showed that when they get their act into gear, and the first try they scored was an indication of that. A couple of close-in runners kept the Gold Coast defence in, and then Laurie Daly with that little bit of extra move to move out wide made all the difference for them. And I think even though Canberra have been pretty well contained, this is the skill play. A lot of teamwork in that, a lot of training to finally get the ball on the fringe of the ruck. Laurie Daly with an opportunity to make some room for himself. Cuts away from Paul Shaw, then away from Brett Rolls. Serves the pass up to Martin, who was just waiting his time. That ball, or the pass, has come from one side of the field to the other, come through about 5 or 6 hands. That's Canberra at their best.
David, the disorganised Gold Coast side, as the applause goes up, the Wales helicopter has left us. They do a great job.
Well, they certainly do, Fordo, and I think it's indicative. They got a great response here from the crowd, the Gold Coast crowd. Really, this Gold Coast team themselves have responded well to the crowd today too. They played very well so far.
Particularly seeing they were so disorganised with all the late withdrawals leading up to the match.
Just shows you, if you're keen, what you can do. Obviously, teamwork hasn't been the essence today, but it's been keenness for the Gold Coast. Malcolm Clifton would be very happy, but beware the Raiders in the second half. They could well cut loose.
OK, we'll get ready for the second half here at the Seagulls Stadium. It's 8 points to 4. The Raiders lead the Seagulls. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment.
Half of this match, Canberra leading by 8 points to 4 at the moment. And a little bit fresh here at the moment at Seagulls Stadium. Bit of a breeze coming across the ground.
Tell you, Bill, there was a bit of a breeze when that helicopter was there.
I was wondering about Fordo's week. I thought it was going to have to be rescued at one stage.
You should get a new wig maker, well.
So now there's the kick-off, and it's going to be Fritz bringing it up for Canberra. And he'll go to ground about 20 metres out from his own line. So while they're working their way out from down in their own quarter, the Canberra side, we might take you to Tony Durkin on the touchline. What's the story at half-time, Durko?
Well, Bill, Tim Sheens is pretty happy with the Canberra Raiders' defence. He's worried, though, at the rucks, the mistakes they made in a couple of those early rucks in the tackle count, so we can expect nothing too spectacular from the Raiders in the early stages of the rucks. He wants them to hit the first 4 or 5 up and then use the chip. They're going to use some short blind sides too, so they can open up a wide open side, and we can expect some chip kicks from Ricky Stewart to break up this good Gold Coast defence. Now, Danny Peacock, the injured Seagulls fullback, has been in the Gold Coast dressing room. And Danny, what did Malcolm have to say?
Malcolm believes that the boys have got to put a bit more variety in their attack, like a few wraparounds between the halves, and in their defence, they've got to take the bigger blokes low and make sure they put them on the ground. And they believe that they're just human, these blokes, and their defence will start, their attack will start to tire, and the boys feel very confident.
And Danny, I believe you're back in training now after dislocating your hip the second time in a couple of years.
Yeah, second time in 3 years, and I'm training well at the moment, and I'm feeling very confident for next year.
Mate, we'll see you back in the Seagulls jersey next year.
Yeah, can't wait. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time, mate.
So that's a good piece of work there by Paul Shaw. He's beaten a couple of tackles and then unloaded nicely. It is the final tackle. So the ball is put up high this time by Rolls. Back into the in-goal area. They're going to be taken safely.
Brilliantly taken that by Gary Belcher. He had to initially dodge around the goalpost to position himself. He actually brushed the goalpost initially. Look at this. Brushed against the goalpost. Did not put him off one little bit. Stood his ground right behind the post then. Tap on the 22.
So Canberra take it up and losing it in the tackle, but it's going to be a penalty. Reefed out, says the referee.
Going back to that thing of Gary Belcher, David, it comes back to one word: experience.
Well, it does, Fordo, but also a lot of skill. There's the stealing action there by the Gold Coast. Penalty now to Canberra. And Meninga will look to put them deep inside Gold Coast territory.
So the kick is going to find touch about 11 metres inside Canberra territory.
Possessions in the first half, Canberra with more than the Gold Coast, but only marginally more. They're a dangerous attacking side. You must keep the ball away from them. But missed tackles, that's been a bit of a problem for Gold Coast. Overall, they've tackled pretty well. Still 12-7 in the missed tackle department.
So it's Gaffey getting up to play the ball.
Yes, Canberra having to do 90 and 108 by the Gold Coast in the first half.
So Canberra almost up on the Gold Coast quarter line as Walters comes up to dummy half. Sends it outside to Barnhill. Now they'll settle it up with Walters as dummy half. Ricky Stewart coming into it now to Wood. Wood out of the first tackle, that of Nella. Then he gets it away to Daly. Daly back to Stewart, doubling around nicely. He flicks it away this time to Croker. Croker eventually put down by Nella. Here's the final tackle. So it's Stewart positioning himself now. He's going to do a little chip kick this time, but it's going to be taken by the Coast. Getting onto it is Robert Simpkins, and didn't he put some work in that first half?
He sure did, but once again, Canberra throwing everything at the Gold Coast. Different angles they've been running there, and the Gold Coast have been an answer every time.
So that's G unloading it back behind him to Bartram. And the tackle count to restart. So the Coast with an opportunity now to take it up the centre. Moving around there was Gonzalez. Over to Close. Straight ahead, but Laurie Daly's there to take care of him. Also getting into the tackle is Gaffey. So they work it to Simpkins. Simpkins straight up the centre. Barnhill is there to tackle. He couldn't unload to Nella, who was coming through in support. Shaw to Horsnell. And Freestone getting a one-handed pass back behind it, but Big Mal appears on the scene. And that takes care of things out there. So the final tackle. The kick back over the head this time of Croker, who runs it out, but is going to be taken in the tackle of Danny Sharp. So Daly to dummy half. And Canberra with a lead of 8 points to 4. Pulled down that time by Gaffey. He slipped out of the first tackle of Simpkins, but could not get away from Keith Neller. So Bradley Clyde with it.
5 minutes gone in this second half. Barnhill. Little right arm to Chris Close. Went undetected by the touch judge on this side, but not by the fans in the crowd.
Another look at it. Barnhill there pushing at Chris Close.
Here's the kick and chase. Beautifully redeemed that time by Gonzalez. And he takes play back outside the 22. Paul Shaw scoops it up in one hand. Ran away from dummy half. Ran across field, looks for the runner out wide in Cook. Unloaded the pass. He's given it to Matthew Wood. Knocked down by Danny Sharp. And Canberra have the ball back with 6 to go. Daly.
So another look. Wood there on the intercept. Pass fired up. Sharp just got a hand in the road.
Cook with a great tackle. Walters looking on the blind side. Darts out of dummy half. A one-hander for Croker. But Sharp's defence is equal to the task. The assistance of the other headgeared player in Simpkins. Walters. Stewart. Keith Neller wrapped him up, ball and all.
Very unusual there, Fordo, that we see Ricky Stewart left high and dry.
He let them know it too. Now Wood, out for Daly. He's always dangerous, this fellow. Takes play inside the quarter. This is the final tackle for the Raiders. Stewart calls for it left-hand side. Defence was up so quickly, and that's tremendous stuff by the Gold Coast.
Steve Walters could almost have been offside there as Ricky Stewart was forced to fumble the ball. Well, was actually knocked out by the Gold Coast. That's some good defence again as Ricky Stewart's put under a lot of pressure.
Chris Close, the first receiver. And Tony Durkin, Choppy Close and Mal Meninga, 2 of the 4 survivors from that first State of Origin side still playing in the Winfield Cup.
Yes, David, and unfortunately one of the others, Wally Lewis, of course, a late withdrawal from the Gold Coast side tonight. The other, Graham Wynn, and of course 2 other people who played in that first State of Origin also involved here tonight. Alan Smith and Graham Eadie, the 2 coaches of the lower grade sides here at the Seagulls.
So Bartram will look for touch on that far side. Midway between the half and the 22 at Canberra's end of the ground. 7.5 minutes gone in the second half. Gonzalez settles it. Shaw with the deep back line. Horsnell cuts out Simpkins. Oh, Rolls took his eye off it. It's a Canberra ball. But the referee will rule the knock on. And the scrum will pack down with Canberra with the loose head and feet just inside their own half.
The good work can be done on the inside here. The pass up by Horsnell. Rolls really should have taken it. Referee, I think, perhaps blew the whistle prematurely. It could have been play on.
Stewart. Scrum feed. Meninga comes on the blind side. Coming in from the blind to the open was Croker. Stanton goes to dummy half. Runs away from that position. Got through the tackle of Close. Now Walters away for Stewart. Look at Clyde on the inside. Good play by the Australian lock forward. Cook was around his ankles. They move it wide now. Wood, that's terrific defence. Simpkins has had an absolute blinder here tonight in defence. 18 tackles he's pulled off so far. Now Fritz opens them up on that short side. It's the final tackle for the Raiders on the attack. Stewart away for Daly. Spiral pass. Here goes Meninga. The pass is a shocker.
Once again, the Gold Coast moving up very quickly. Canberra had done what they were after. That was to create the overlap. But Meninga was forced to pop the ball very quickly. Often he does it beautifully. This time he couldn't find Croker.
Well, Danny Sharp injured himself in the tackle. Neller. Bartram away for Shaw. That's Durham. Durham in centre field. Tony a change.
Steve Walters, the test hooker is off. Obviously a well-earned rest for Steve Walters. Brett Boyd in jersey number 22 is on Fordo, the 19-year-old from the Raiders, and this kid can play.
Yes, he's had about half a dozen games in the top grade. He's a very talented player. Here they go on attack through Markham. Meninga goes to dummy half. Takes play over the halfway line. Boyd goes into that role now. He'll give it to Stewart. That's good defence again. Keith G was up on that occasion. Haven't they wrapped him up well tonight, Stewart?
Well, he is the playmaker for this side, and they've given him no time to think about it.
Boyd pinched 10 valuable metres for the Raiders. They've got options on either side. They go left-hand side with Stewart and Meninga. Belcher came into the line, but Cook was up again. I mentioned earlier in the game, he's renowned for his defence, and he's been in great touch in that department tonight. Here goes the big ball again from Ricky Stewart. It will swirl in the breeze, and it was so difficult to take. It was knocked back. Correct decision to play on. Away goes Gonzalez on the counter-attack. Beautiful pass back to Shaw. This is a great movement. Shaw looks for runners. He's got one in Gonzalez again. How well did Ben Gonzalez do in that movement?
Beautiful stuff from the Gold Coast. Great counter-attack.
They move it again. Bartram to the quarter line. From the bomb from Stewart, the reply has come from the Gold Coast. Simpkins wrapped up in the tackle. The Coast trail by 8 to 4. That should be a penalty. And this really is a dumb rule. I can't get warm on it at all, David.
No, well, Robert Simpkins there, I think, was really looking for that penalty too. The rule hasn't changed in actual fact. All that's changed is a note in the rule book. There's the stealing the ball incident. The rule has always been that once the tackle has been effected, you cannot steal the ball. The rule is exactly the same as it always has been. What they've done is they've changed a note to the rule that said that you could steal the ball in a one-on-one situation as the tackle is being effected. Now the rule or the note says that under no circumstances can you intentionally steal the ball even when the tackle is still going on. And that is the difference this year compared with other years. The rule, the fact that once the tackle's been effected, it's always been the same. No one can steal it.
So it's that's Wood off the field. What's the replacement there, Tony?
David Boyle, Bill, has come on for the Raiders in jersey number 29. As you can see from that picture, Matthew Wood has a shoulder injury.
So it's Bartram who has taken over the kicking, and he's put over 6 out of 10 so far this season. Here's the kick. It's on its way. It's going to be waved away. So a good opportunity gone begging, but Canberra lead by 8 points to 4. For the restart of play on the quarter line. And the ball comes through to Paul Shaw, who decided to have a bit of a run. Slipped out of one tackle, that of Clive. He's working across field and also going backwards at the time.
He's had a very good
just
game.
like he did in that 87 grand final too when he came on, David, the Canberra side.
Yes, he had a great game there when Bobby Fulton used him as almost an interchange player. He's had a good game tonight.
Back it goes to Close. Just a metre inside Canberra territory.
Draw down into Bill.
Simpkins sends it back the other way. Taking it up over there is Durham. And the knock-on occurring in there. Sure, being helped to his feet by the trainer as the scrum packs down 12 metres inside Canberra territory.
The trainer, of course, is Billy Johnston, only retired this season and working feverishly with the Gold Coast side.
So Daly to Meninga's lost it. Gold Coast ball picked up this time by Horsnell.
We don't often see this. Daly to Meninga, bang, straight on the deck.
So now the Coast getting it across over there this time to Freestone. Freestone still going. He's over the quarter line, eventually put down about 20 metres out from the Canberra line. So they keep it going now. Roll, sending a pass to be picked up by Shaw. He doubles back the other way. Now he gets it back to Close. Close still going, looking for support. Put down 20 metres out. Now he slowly gets up to play it. Away from dummy half, trying to find a way through over there was Horsnell. Back it comes. Coast putting on the pressure again, but Canberra holding out. Final tackle though. Let's see what they do with it. Back it goes to Paul Shaw. He decides to let it go. This is Horsnell. A long one coming out to Freestone. Freestone drops. is going to be taken ball and all. He's trying to get the pass away. Got it away eventually. Cook came away with it. Outside going for the line, and it is Rolls. Rolls in for the try.
The Gold Coast have replied, they're going to hit the front. It's 8-all at the moment. The referee allowed the Gold Coast to stand for an eternity before the offload was made. Yes, Chris Close limping off the field. This was the sixth tackle upcoming. I thought the referee may have called it up. Let's have another look at it. Paul Shaw initially dumping the kick. The pass out to Brett Horsnell. He fires that long ball out. Scott Freestone was the man who stood in the tackle for a long, long time. I thought the referee could have held it up there and forced a changeover. Freestone struggling all the way, gets to his feet, gets the pass away. Brett rolls into a gap right beside the sticks. The Gold Coast are at 8-all with the kick to come. Another look at it, we'll see it this way. Brett Horsnell, that long pass out. Now, we've seen Canberra Raiders run it on the sixth tackle about 3 times tonight. The Gold Coast tried similar tactics. Freestone wrestling, getting the ball clear. Drops down, picked up by Cook. Cook does well, couple of paces, puts Rolls into the gap, right beside the post. Laurie Daly couldn't stop him.
So now let's see what Bartram can do. Can he make it 10 points to 8? Yes, he can. Gold Coast hit the front, 10 to 8 here at Seagulls Stadium. Well, I suppose, David, you look at that and wonder whether he should have called held at that occasion, but the ball all of a sudden rolled onto the ground. Cook also looked as though he was going close to knocking it on, but he held on to it.
Yes, he did, Bill. The referee there has to decide whether the tackle had been affected, and when you look at it, Freestone was wrestling all the way to get his hands clear. He did that. The ball was put on the ground. This man picked it up. Brett Rolls right beside the sticks.
Well, you can rest assured this green machine will go into overdrive now. They know how desperate this situation is now. We've had 15 minutes of play gone in the second half. For the first time in the match, the Gold Coast are behind. The Gold Coast are leading the Canberra Raiders. The 2 points mean very little to the Gold Coast, but gee, they mean a lot to the defending premiers.
Well, I suppose when you're talking about points not meaning anything to them, David, but a lot of these blokes here will be playing for contracts next year.
And they've certainly showed up tonight. A couple of them have been outstanding. One in particular, the veteran Robert Simpkins, who's affected yet another tackle. Chris Close has aggravated a knee injury, so Herring is on as his replacement. Stewart getting it away for Daly. You watch these pass players now go into the second mode of their attack. Good pass away for Croker. Shaw went low and Cook came over the top. Boyd goes to dummy half. Bradley Clyde is the first receiver. Hits the advantage line, tried to unload. 16 and a half minutes of play in the second half has elapsed. Barnhill, centre of the ground, 23 metres out. Stewart is on the right-hand side. Meninga is hovering on the left. Stewart fed Meninga. The wraparound Stewart. The lob pass to Belcher. Belcher hoists it high. Pressure on Brett Rolls. Knocked forward by Canberra. It's a Gold Coast ball. And once again we see the half counter-attack coming from Gonzalez.
So many times we've seen this year where that high ball has gone to the hand of the attacking side, but the Gold Coast getting a little bit of the bounce of the ball tonight. They've earned it in a lot of ways. They've hung on well when the chips were down. They've tackled very, very well tonight, and they've been rewarded ultimately with a nice lead after about 17 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, you've got to give it to them tonight. They were totally disorganised going out onto the field with the loss of Lewis and the two players, Clinton Moore and Ian Wood, and of course the return to England of their two English recruits, Paul Dixon and Darryl Powell. There's a marvellous kick.
They have kicked well in general play tonight. Brett Rolls, who came in as a replacement for Clinton Moore, as you say, Fordo, he's been called to the fullback role, and he has kicked very well. Certainly they've done more general play kicking, and it's been effective.
Second half possessions pretty well tied up. Scrum feed by the Raiders. It's a Gold Coast ball, but it comes back a penalty for screwing the scrum.
He's got Robert Simpkins for not staying in the scrum, even though it had screwed. Very technical penalty, this one.
Very technical.
Well, the ball had come out.
That's what had come out that side. He was the other.
There's the kick by Meninga. What a crucial penalty that is.
It's stiff.
Because now Canberra get the ball back in the attacking half.
There's the referee standing on the mark and actually getting in the road, and I can't believe this is a new ruling by the league. They should be back on that 10-metre line.
Boyd is the dummy half. Meninga is the first receiver, but he was cut out. The ball went to Stanton. He got away from his opposite number in Durham. But Keith G, who was injured early in the first half, has come back strongly in defence. Stewart away for Clyde. Magnificent athlete, this young fellow. Boyd switching play again with Stewart. Meninga getting far more involved. Good pass away. The ball's gone forward. Gaffey lost the football. And it's a Gold Coast ball inside their own quarter.
Raiders have made a few errors in tonight's match. Most of those have been forced on them by a very fast-moving defence as they've tried to get the ball to the fringe of the rucks.
Herring will give it away to the captain, G. Takes it beyond the quarter line, back for Gonzalez. He's had a terrific second half. He's kept the Gold Coast going forward. He's done some terrific work in defence as well. There's Horsnell, the little step off the left foot. Quickly to his feet. He's after the quick play of the ball. Bartram gives it to Shaw. In turn for Nella. The good flat pass for Freestone. Back for Nella. He left it behind him. And the referee will rule the knock on. And it's the Gold Coast in the lead at the moment by 10 points to 8.
Goes territory, but it'll be Paul Shaw to feed. Referee not happy with things in there in that scrum. Shaw standing by. In it goes. And it's Gold Coast bringing it up to a couple of metres short of the halfway mark now. They have that lead of 10 points to 8. This is Freestone. Flicks it back behind him. Shaw scoops it up. Freestone's hurt himself as he ran upfield on that occasion. This is Simpkins. Back to Shaw. Shaw gets it away to Freestone, who's quickly recovered from any injury. And eventually wrestled to the ground, 15 metres inside Canberra territory.
You won't get Freestone back in the second row, Bill. I think he's enjoyed himself out there in the centres tonight.
And trying to sneak his way through is Bartram, doing well. He's up to about 20 metres out from the Canberra line. Dummy half is Herring. Herring back to Shaw. Shorter rolls. Rolls along one. This is Cook. Cook running along, but is going to be pulled down by Meninga. Final tackle. Away from dummy half across to Shaw. Shaw's going to put it up, and it's right off the side of his boot.
Oh, now Meninga has taken out Danny Sharp. This is worth looking at. The touch judge has not come in. Let's look at this again in replay. Watch for Mal Meninga. This should be a penalty to the Gold Coast. Look at Meninga coming through, took him straight out on purpose. He eyed him off. That should be a penalty to the Gold Coast.
Certainly you cannot step in the way of another player coming through, and Fordo, I agree with you. I think the Gold Coast harshly done by.
So it's Canberra in possession, 15 metres short of the halfway mark. Back it comes this time to Gappy, and they get it up to just about on halfway now with a couple of runs. So Stewart. Back inside then to Stanton. Boyd to Fritz. This Gold Coast defence is willing. They're going in twos and threes.
Best I've seen them tackle in 4 years.
So Stewart to Meninga. Swarming defence, but Daly getting it back. It's going to be knocked down.
And knocked on, Bill. Even though he was facing his own try line, he did drag the ball forward, as the referee indicates. Daly popped the ball out. Bradley Clyde dragged it forward. Loose head and feed to the Gold Coast.
Well, Graham Lowe said here 2 weeks ago, Billy, that it was the toughest match the Manly side had played all season. I wonder what Tim Sheens will say tonight.
Well, they've certainly carried the game up to this Canberra side. And probably a mistake rate that we haven't seen from Canberra for a while either.
Well, that's right, but it's been forced on them by some very willing defence, fast-moving defence, and the little men also in attack have caused Canberra quite a deal of difficulty.
Oh, that's Nella.
That was Nella.
There hasn't been many big hits from Canberra tonight, though. That's one of them. Gaffey, a big shoulder charge, but really Canberra have not been hard in the middle.
So now it's Herring getting it across over there to Shaw outside to Horsnell. Horsnell broke out of the first tackle, that of Bradley Clyde, but wrapped up by Stewart. Now it is the final tackle, so they send it back to Rolls. He's going to grab a kick for touch. He's going to find it too. That's a good kick.
That's tidy play, that from the Gold Coast. Brett Rolls always in good position, and that's the big advantage of the fullback who can kick, because he can always come up at the critical time. slots it away, keeps Canberra inside their own territory, and that man realises these 2 points are absolutely essential for their chances in the 1991 Winfield Cup.
So it's Laurie Daly with it. Tony Durkin.
Machines has come down from the spot, Bill, that normally the visiting coaches occupy here at Seagulls. That's on top of the grandstand behind me. So Tim Sheens, and has every right to feel very, very worried.
But they go on attack. Stanton got the pass away to Meninga. Meninga held it back beautifully for Croker. Herring came at him in defence and brings him down 11 metres inside the Gold Coast end of the ground. Meninga moves it to Stewart. He spotted the gap, unloaded it for Daly. Good floating ball. We've got Bradley Clyde running wide. He's got support on the outside of Martin. Was the pass forward?
Yes, it was forward.
Yes, it was.
Good call, Porto. Graham West threw it exactly the same way. Bradley Clyde accelerated to try and commit Brett Rolls here, but in doing that, mistimes the pass. Have a look at him. Take on Brett Rolls. He wanted to bring Rolls to him, then not concentrating on the pass out to Martin. And Canberra with a chance to hit the front, and they've blown it.
21 minutes of play gone. In fact, 26 minutes of play gone in the second half. And the Coast in the lead by 10 points to 8. And we keep harping how vital these 2 points are to the Winfield Cup champions of 1990 in their title defence. They've had a couple of hiccups mid-season with the representative campaign.
Right.
And this Gold Coast side, they say they'll end up with a wooden spoon, but they're not playing like that in this round 19 clash. I mentioned at the beginning of the telecast they had lost 6 games by less than 6 points. They have been a headache to a few sides, despite the fact they've only come up with 2 wins and a draw. There's the kick by Shaw. Back it goes tantalisingly there for Croker, who takes it inside his own quarter line, and look at Cook's defence. Terrific stuff by the 2 centres, Freestone and Cook. 19 tackles so far, and Nella comes in with one over the top. Meninga looking worried at dummy half, giving it to Stewart on the open side. Desperate defence by the Coast. Now Meninga goes forward, inside Belcher. Look at that defence. McDonald is on for Gaffey and wrapped up by Cook. Now, Tony, is McDonald in the second row? He would be if he's on for Gaffey. There's been no other change.
Well, I think that's where he's going to play, David. A fair change from fullback to reserve grade to a second row in first grade.
Well, he came off the bench and played in the second row against Norths earlier this year. Fullback against Brisbane last week. The final tackle now for the Canberra Raiders, Stewart. They decide to run it. Out to Meninga. He attempts to kick it. The ball was smothered.
Referee has not signalled 6 to go. It was only a rebound.
Again, desperate defence pays off in the end for the Gold Coast. Terrific stuff.
And one man has been desperate, marginally more than others. There's the kick by Meninga, straight into a Gold Coast player, not a restart of the tackle count. The man has shown most desperation tonight, and he's the one getting attention now. Robert Simpkins in the background.
Terrific smothering tackle from Horsnell as well. Now Durham. Wayne Bartram. The more I look at him, David, the more I'd like to see maybe the Gold Coast experiment with him next year in the halfback role. I think he's got all the qualities.
Very talented footballer.
There's the kick back, and Martin was under enormous pressure. You think he can handle that spot?
I think he can handle any spot, Porto, the way he's shown his ability. He scored a great try last time we were here. Here's Canberra from inside their own territory, and rest assured, they're going to start throwing the ball around at any part on the park.
Now, Stanton. Oh, that's terrific defence. Simpkins is off, Close is on, and that is a telling blow for this Gold Coast side.
They'll lose work rate, but certainly Chris Close is going to give them plenty of enthusiasm.
Look at Cook up again in defence. Meninga got the pass away. Martin, Shaw comes in cover, inside the tackle of Herring, and Horsnell was there in the end.
10 minutes as well. Gee, this is a tough penalty. He held on to him for about a half a second. Horsnell it was who made the tackle. Martin tries to get to his feet. Penalty has gone to Canberra. Horsnell is off for 10 minutes. And Canberra now basically will play the remainder of the match against 12 men. If there's one side you don't want to play, When you've only got 12, it's the Raiders.
Well, the best thing that can happen is the horse will be back for the last minute of the play because there's just on 11 minutes of play. This is a tough penalty again. This will give a chance for Meninga to have a go for the 2 points.
I think he's got it right, though, Fordo. Certainly Cook was getting up offside. And with the new system of refereeing now, with the touch judges lining up on the 10-metre line at tap penalties, the touch judge on this side signalling to the referee that Cook was offside, and he was. Meninga now with a chance to square it up.
I just wonder whether 1 point would be any value to Canberra after that draw last night.
Could well be, Fordo, because at the moment they've got a chance to get to 28 points with 4 wins. And draw tonight, 27, I still think, is a very, very good chance of making the 5. But Canberra, if they only came here and took a point away, they would see that as a very, very disappointing outing.
So Meninga is back onto his mark. Crowd giving him quite a G up here at Seagulls Stadium. He's on his way. The kick's on his way and it is there. So that levels it up now at 10 points all.
Before
Walters back onto the field for Darren Fritz.
Tim Sheen's there looking a little bit more secure at 10 all and against 12 men for the remaining 9 minutes of the match. Canberra now raging hot favourites. But it's amazing just what a little bit of pressure will do, and all the pressure is on the Raiders.
So now it's Brett Rolls to restart play. Long and high kick. Gary Belcher takes it. So Canberra now level it up. But they'd like to get away with 2 points rather than the 1.
They sure would, and this side, Bill, will really look to get the ball down the other end. They won't want to make any mistakes here, obviously. Work it down the other end, look for an error by the Gold Coast and try and exploit it.
Wally Lewis up there in the box, taking this match in.
He'll be encouraged by this performance tonight, looking to 1992.
I'm sure he would be. Of course, maybe the other thing, David, is work it down there, and you've got someone like Stewart who can drop kick that ball.
Yes, that's right, Bill. Certainly field goal could come in very handy. Now Gold Coast, emphasis exactly the same.
So here's Freestone.
The Raiders haven't kicked a field goal this season, Bill, although they kicked a few last year through Stewart, as you said.
Win, lose or draw, the Gold Coast have done well tonight with a team that had several changes, key changes, coming into the match.
Actually, it'd be a great, great effort, Bill. If they can salvage a draw out of this, even though they did lead there for a while, a draw would be a terrific result, and they've made a meal of it.
Ball flying across field, but the referee to play that knock on.
Just got too fancy there, the Gold Coast. This is the chance the Raiders have been looking for. Error there by the Gold Coast. Loose head and feed Raiders. They've got only a 5-man scrum, the Gold Coast. They are highly vulnerable on the blind side.
They're waiting for the scrum to pack down. Remember, Gold Coast 1 man short. So crossover there this time to Belcher. Belcher dummies. But the defence is swarming in over there. As Martin plays it. 10 points all at the moment at Seagulls Stadium. Canberra just inside the Seagulls quarter line. Bradley Clyde. Now, where's Stewart? He's standing out wide of the play there at the moment. Back it goes to him. He decides to run it out. Yes, he does. Now he gets a pass back behind him. It'll be taken back there by McDonald. They keep it going. Back to Clyde. Clyde dummies. And he's taken ball and all 18 metres out from the Gold Coast line. Dummy half is Boyd. Works it back to Stewart. Here's the drop shot at goal. It is away to the right-hand side, is it? Yes, it is.
Once again, pressure on Ricky Stewart. Obviously hampered, I would think, by this groin injury that he suffered again earlier in this match. He hasn't had the zip that we normally see him around the rucks. He's been caught a couple of times and put under pressure there. Couldn't get the field goal in.
So this is Close. Another strong run by Chris Close. Back over there to G. 10 points all. Picked up there by Barton, was back between his legs. And he goes to ground about 5 metres inside Canberra territory.
We're into the final 5 minutes. The crowd right behind the Seagulls. There's the kick and chase. Back goes Coker. He's made a meal of it. Cook got it back. Beautiful hand.
He's in touch. He's called it in touch. The touch judge has got his flag up here. The Gold Coast tried a little bit of initiative. The little chip kick over the top by Brett Rolls. It looked for a moment they could regain. Touch judge has said, I think, Cook I think it is, who has just put his foot on the touch line as he endeavoured to pop it back on the inside. There's the touch judge who made the ruling.
I think he's right too, David.
Scrum feed by Ricky Stewart. Can Canberra pull something out of the fire in the last 5? If any side in the Winfield Cup can do it, this is the team that can. Terrific break upfield. Look at Meninga on the inside. Martin's on the outside. Cover defence is there. Martin got free. Shaw came back in cover. He got the pass away. Here goes Mal Meninga. He goes in under the post. And Canberra are going to get the Winfield Cup point.
One very relieved man, Tim Sheens. Also the Raiders come to congratulate the captain, Mal Meninga, on the spot. But against 12 men, even from a scrum deep inside their own territory, it is very, very hard to combat it. The beautiful break this one by Boyle. Boyle showed plenty of pace. Martin just waiting the opportunity on the outside. He got it, turns it back on the inside. Sharp had him for a moment. Looks back on the inside, gets up, pops it up again to Boyle. Meninga then across the field, brings it in under the sticks. The Raiders have their reply in the last 5 minutes of the match from deep inside their own territory. Boyle, the replacement player, plenty of gap because they're against 12 men. You've got to feel a little bit sorry for the Gold Coast, who've laboured all evening to keep in touch with the premiers. And then in the dying minutes, Martin, tackled for a moment by Shaw, who's been in cover defence all night, and then back to his feet, which he's allowed to do, not held. Through Boyle to Meninga, the captain under the sticks.
Mal Meninga, his 7th try of the season. He kicked 4 from 4 to deny the Gold Coast in the first round. They won that by 20 points to 18. This will secure the 2 points on the Winfield Cup table. And this kick from right in front will also bring up the 100 points for the season for the Canberra and Australian captain. Meninga magic, 100 points in the season. Canberra lead by 16 points to 10. And we've got about 2 minutes of play remaining here at the Seagulls Stadium. And we see the name of Lewis out there, Tony Durkin. Not the king, though.
No, it's his young brother, Heath Lewis, and I'm sure Mum and Dad, Jimmy and June Lewis, I noticed they're here, David, in the grandstand behind me, and what proud parents they'd be. They certainly have produced some great footballers, and young Heath, I'm sure, is going to carry on the Lewis name. Heath Lewis on for Paul Shaw.
Yes, a member of the President's Cup side. Of course, Scott Lewis played with the Broncos in those early days in 88 and 89. Lewis, number 3 out there. The young fellow had a bit of a stint in Perth before coming to join the Gold Coast this year. So, Tim Sheens, no doubt, Tony, would be breathing a very big sigh of relief over there. They really needed these 2 points.
Well, they certainly did. He doesn't show a lot of emotion, Tim Sheens, but I'm sure right now he is absolutely ecstatic because that could have been the death knell for the Raiders in 1991. And haven't they had some bad news in the last few months? I think tonight would have just about been the final straw.
Well, they go back to Canberra tomorrow morning to face the possibility of a 15% pay cut. And I wonder with that news whether they can now keep Mal Meninga for 1992. What a loss he would be. I noticed a sign at the southern end of the ground tonight says, "Don't go Mal."
Well, it'll be a loss to Canberra, Forday, but also a loss to the New South Wales Rugby League competition. I believe they can ill afford to lose personality players such as Meninga. And once again, there's the sign, "Don't go Mal." But
well,
Canberra,
I'm sure these fans will be hoping he would have gone tonight. It's two games in a row he's denied the Gold Coast.
Well, he has, and Canberra, it must be on their minds. There's no doubt about it. They weren't right at their peak tonight, although the Gold Coast bustled them. But it would be some phenomenal effort if this green machine can put aside the off-field troubles and go on and play their way into the final 5.
But let's not take anything away from this very committed, if somewhat disorganised Gold Coast side before they kicked off tonight. They have played as a team. David Wright mentioned earlier the best defensive performance in 4 years in the Winfield Cup. I can only agree.
Well, it just shows you the importance of enthusiasm. Talent, of course, is very important to get you into first grade. But if you're not enthusiastic, you're no use to anyone when it comes to match day.
So Boyd goes to dummy half. Time ticking away. In fact, the full-time hooter has sounded here at the Seagulls Stadium. The Raiders, in their premiership defence, keep their hopes alive for a place in the top 5. They move to 22 points on the Winfield Cup table following this 16 points to 10 victory over a very committed side here tonight from the Gold Coast. 16 points to 10. A terrific victory in the end by the Canberra Raiders, and reason to smile for their trip home tonight.
Tonight, 16 points to 10. I get 2 very important points for the Winfield Cup. So Martin, Wood and Meninga scoring tries. 3 tries to 2, actually. Meninga a 50% record, 2 from 4. And for the Gold Coast, Sharp and Rolls the try scorers. Rolls unsuccessful on 2 counts, and Bartram 1 from 2. Man of the Match award coming up right now. Let's firstly see what we have for our winner tonight.
Todd's Hi-Fi of Tingalpa are proud to present the Man of the Match award. Tonight's winner will receive the latest in compact disc technology, a Yamaha Multi-5 disc player.
Very rarely do we go into a loser's dressing room to give the Man of the Match award, but tonight we did it, and what a deserved winner, Robbie Simpkins. And Robbie, so close, but yet so far.
Yes, Tony, we just seem to get so close, we just can't put the nail in the hammer on the nail, and you know, as you say, so close so far.
You came off too, mate. What happened?
Believe it or not, Tony, I done my hammy. I didn't think I had one, but that's what it was, my hamstring, yeah.
Robbie, it's been a disappointing season, I know, for the Gold Coast, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, obviously, if you can keep putting in performances like that one tonight.
Yeah, Tony, if everyone has a go like we did tonight, I think there is light at the end of the tunnel, yeah.
But for Robbie Simpkins, this is it, just 3 more games and hang up those boots.
Yeah, Tony, 3 more, and that's it. I'll call it quits then.
All right, mate. Well, it's a good finish for you. From Todd's Hi-Fi tonight for our Man of the Match, a compact display.
Okay, Tony, I'd like to thank Todd's Hi-Fi and Channel 10. Thank you.
The very best advice in sound and vision. Remember, talk to Todd's Hi-Fi of Tingalpa.
Had a great match there tonight, and well-deserved winner. OK, let's have a look at what's coming up here on Brisbane 10 for Rugby League. And firstly, of course, we're in action tomorrow with the MMI big game, our double-header. We'll be at Lang Park for the match between the Broncos and Parramatta. And you'll also take in the North Sydney game down there at North Sydney Oval, North and Manly. Tomorrow night at 6:30, the MMI big game double-header. Late night league tomorrow night. And, of course, that's after the movie, 10:45. You can see how they make those Lowe's commercials. Wayne Pearce's new book. There's a new one out on Rugby League, actually. I saw it during the week. It's quite good. There'll be more about that tomorrow night. Match highlights from the weekend, also highlights from the test. And then, of course, next Friday night, it's back in action again with Friday Night League. And that is from Lang Park. The match between the Brisbane Broncos and North Sydney comes your way at 8:30. Well, that's about it for tonight. We'd like to say a very good evening also to our friends at Canberra. You'll have Manly and North tomorrow night, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy that one too. That's all we have for you at Seagulls Stadium. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage. Until we're back with you again, Billy J. Smith on behalf of our group, bidding all of
To collect their takeaway.
So Hull will get their last opportunity to put something on here. Sharp to play the ball. They've got a bit sloppy as Jackson gets it out to Windley. Windley gets it away to Marlowe. Marlowe goes without it. It's a knock on both ways, and the scrum will go down just outside Australia's line. Well, Marlowe played strongly, former rugby union player. He's only recently converted to rugby league. Wasn't in the side originally. As Australia now bring it out through Johns. Don't forget, stay on after the game for our Just Jeans man of the match. And what a difficult task that will be to choose tonight. So many good players in this Australian lineup tonight. It's Australia bring it out again through Carroll. Can they lay on another try in the last 5 minutes of the match? Out to the quarter line come the Australians. Sargent to play it. Kerrod Walters. Back to Alexander for the kick. And Alexander finds touch about 30 metres out from the Hull line. The crowd becomes hushed, nowhere near the noise that was there at the beginning of the game. They've enjoyed this display from the Australians. They've realised that Hull played well for a while, but this has probably been the best performance by the Australians, especially midweek, so far on tour. The Penrith connection out there, Fittler and Alexander doing the tackling. Mackie trying to bring Jackson down the centre. As Jackson manhandles Geyer. Mackie finally gets up and plays the ball. Jackson from dummy half, taken by Geyer. And now Mackie it is who's pulling Geyer away from Jackson. Open side, Windley, Ontar. Ontar sights the opening, gets the pass away. Nolan, back it comes again. This is Blacker, back on the inside. Gay's got it. Windley now picks it up. The referee says play on. That ball's been knocked down by Langer. Jackson's gone without it. And now Ontar is tackled back where the original play the ball took place. Oh, what an incredible chain of events. Saw the ball go 40 metres one way and then 40 metres back the other, and it was only touched once by an Australian. Jackson, sharp. Last tackle against Hull. They're going down like wounded soldiers all over the place, Hull. And Tony Durkin, I think you'd agree, this has been a very good performance by the Aussies tonight.
No doubt, Graham, the best, the best midweek performance by the Australians. No doubt about that. And I think they've had their confidence boosted by the great win by the Test team on Saturday. But a lot of these players have struggled on tour so far, and it's really terrific to see them get in there tonight and play so well, particularly Alan Langer and Kerrod Walters, who really, I don't think, have produced their best form on tour so far until tonight. They've been absolutely superb.
And there's Kevin Walters sending the pass across that Johns lost. And then, as Turner tried to pick it up, he too knocked it on, so the knock on both ways, which saw the scrum go down. Hull came up with possession. Gay, closing stages of this match, as Blacker is tackled, 10 metres inside Australia's territory. Nolan back on the inside, taken by Bella. Good solid tackle that. And Bella's another who's had a strong game tonight. Windley, Ontar throws the long pass that Turner had to wait some time for. He loses the ball despite the attentions of Johns. He gets up. Jackson. Back it comes to Ontar. Ontar spies the opening. Open side. He gets it away now towards Dixon. Dixon just outside the quarter line. Last tackle against Hull. Jackson. Windley throws the dummy, and a great tackle from Sargent it is, who puts him to the ground. And Australia come up in possession. That was the last tackle, the handover. As Australia run it away, this will be their last set of 6, one would think. Not long to go in this match. Fittler. Midway, half and quarter line, inside Australia's territory. Kerrod Walters. Sargent, almost to the halfway line. 2 great matches still to come on the English section of this tour, of course. Widnes, one of the real glamour sides of British Rugby League. You can see that next Monday night. And then don't forget the 3rd test live from Ellen Road. What a great match that's going to be. The Ashes decider as Alexander gets it away to Geyer. Geyer comes back on the inside, getting under the high tackle of Eastwood as the hooter goes in the background. That's the end of the match here at the Boulevard in Hull. A very impressive display by the Australians tonight. A good showing from Hull, but really this Australian side, they've often been called the Emus. They call themselves the Emus, but tonight they've played like real, true champion kangaroos. It's been a great performance from them. Hull have only been beaten once in championship matches this year. Tonight they've come up against a red-hot Australian side who really did put it together. Kevin Walters 2 tries, Andrew Eddinghausen 2, Hazlitt 2, Kerrod Walters 1, Alexander 3 goals. They demolished Hull. Turner scored their only points that try in the first half. Australia 34 have defeated Hull 4, and we'll be back shortly with the Just Jeans Man of the Match and the Just Jeans Wrap-Up.
Welcome back. Terrific performance by the Australians in this match against Hull, the English champions. They really did serve it up to them, and our Just Jeans Man of the Match led from the front. The Australian skipper tonight, Alan Langer, a real confidence booster for a lot of players. You seem to find some terrific form there tonight.
Yes, it was a good game. The boys, we knew we had to go out. It was probably last game for a couple of weeks, you know, most of the players, but we just went out there. We wanted to have a win tonight, and it was a really good win by the end of the match.
Nice reminder for Bob Thornton about the third test.
Yeah, it was. I just wanted to go out and have a good game, you know, just cross my fingers again.
Oh, well, you've done it well tonight. $250 worth of gear from Just Jeans coming your way as our man of the match.
I'd just thank Just Jeans and Channel 10. Thanks.
Well, a great performance by Australia tonight, but with me is Hull coach Noel Cleal. Was it disappointing from that point of view, but good to see Australia finally put it together?
Yeah, they certainly did put it together. You know, I'm sitting on both sides of the fence here. It was good to see the Aussies play so well, especially with the third test coming up, but I thought our guys, you know, like they were just outclassed. They were a far better side, and I suppose it's when you're hot, and the Aussies were hot tonight, and that was the end of the story.
Where do you think they really got you?
Well, I thought our forwards went all right, you know, around the fringes, and I thought the three around the ruck, you know, that half and the 5'8" and the hooker, the Ipswich connection or whatever it is, they were strong, and that was just... They just cut us open in the middle, you know. One would pop up, the other one would pop up. It was just unbelievable.
Well, it's really combinations, isn't it? And you get combinations like that in a touring team. Sometimes, in some place, they'll put it together. And tonight was it.
Yeah, we're unfortunate it was had to be tonight, but I think that's the best the Kangaroos have played on tour. Even the Wigan game, and you know, I suppose, again, we were unfortunate because we wore the brunt of it. And I just hope they go on and win the third test.
Kevin, nice way to start tonight as the other twin, unloads for a try.
Yeah, it was a good start to the game, and it's 3 for the till, so I'm pretty happy about that, yeah.
Makes it nice and easy to be playing together.
Yeah, it does, and you know, back tonight in the number 6 jumper, I'll probably play a bit better there and be closer to the action and find Kerrod and Alf a bit more.
Well, Kerrod, you seem to find them all the time, either Kevin or Alan Langer.
Yeah, well, I just know that if I do happen to get in open spaces, I look around and either Kevin or Alfie will be there, so it just becomes natural to have a look and find one of them.
Well, you gave him a try early, so he thought he owed you one, and he gave you one in the second half.
Yeah, well, he's been bragging all week about how he's scoring all these tries, so I've got one back on tonight, so hopefully I can keep going from there.
Good form for you too, back in as far as the third test is concerned. Anything can still happen.
That's right. Well, all you can do is go there and try and play well and keep your fingers crossed, and you never know, anything can happen. So, you know, I'll have your fingers crossed like Alan, and hopefully when the test selects are out, my name might be there, but you know, we've just got to keep going from here.
We'll just keep following each other everywhere.
That's the story.
Well, Bobby, what were your impressions of that performance tonight?
I thought it was one of our best performances on tour, actually, David. I thought it was just one of those games that everything fell into place. Our defence was first class. And when you have a look at the guys that were omitted from the test side, they bounced back, and it just gives you an idea of, well, you know, you're here with the boys all the time, and just the camaraderie and mateship and the spirit in the side that those guys could have spat their dummy out by being omitted from the side, but they realised that they weren't there, and form was the only criteria in relation to their omission from the side, and they bounced back, and, you know, it's obvious the people I'm referring to, that they played superbly.
I thought the Ipswich connection went pretty well. Langer and the 2 Walters twins.
Yeah, and you can throw in another Queenslander, Marty Biller played super as well. I mean, I was very impressed with all their play today, and I suppose overall you look at they're the best defensive side in the English League, and they've beaten sides like Wigan convincingly, they've beaten Widnes, they've beaten St Helens, they've beaten Leeds, and for an Australian side to beat them in front of their home crowd, particularly for Wednesday night when, you know, conditions always seems to be raining before the game or during the game, is very, very impressive.
What does that do mentally for the test team? Does that give them a great boost too?
Well, I think it does. I'm sure it does, and I think that Widnes would be really looking at what transpired there tonight as well. So. Yeah, they'll be looking at. They'll be trying to sort of. Obviously, there'll be a number of players that from tonight that will be putting pressure on the squad of 17 that'll be going around on the weekend.
So the Kangaroos keep their club record intact, still unbeaten since 1978 when Widnes were the side that beat them. And talking about Widnes, they line up as the Kangaroos' next tour match. You'll see all that action Monday the 19th of November, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at home. Widnes, of course, the World Club Champions. They had that win over the Canberra Raiders last year. And then the last match of this Kangaroo tour in Great Britain, Australia versus the national side, the third and deciding test. Sunday the 25th of November, 12:45 a.m, 1:45 in the morning Eastern Daylight Time at home. Don't miss it. It should be a classic. Wembley was unforgettable, and so too was that match only last weekend at Old Trafford. Thanks for being with us tonight. On behalf of all the Channel 10 crew from the Boulevard in Hull, good night to you all.
Walters throws the dummy. Out it comes out of brother Kevin. Kevin Walters to the line. Kevin Walters scores. Oh, what a fabulous try. Mackey. Cut out. Great chance. They've got it through Turner. That is clever play. Alexander. Cut out passes. Great passing from the Australians. Gerard Walters. Gerard Walters will score. Langer, he's got to take on the fullback. He gets it away to Kevin Walters. And Kevin scores under the post. The Ipswich connection does it again.
I could have played top grade rugby.